Alright guys, on day 3 of STAAR review, we are going to be reviewing similar figures and how to solve for the missing side lengths of a figure. There are a couple of rules for similar figures that you need to remember. In order for figures to be similar, they must be the same shape. So that means if it starts as a triangle, it has to stay a triangle. If it starts as a rectangle, it has to stay a rectangle. Another rule is that the corresponding angle measures must be congruent. Remember that congruent means equal. So that angles do not change at all. They stay the same. The corresponding side lengths are not congruent, but they are proportional. So we're going to be continuing to use those proportions that we've been reviewing all week. Like we just said, similar figures have corresponding side lengths that are proportional. When two figures are similar, a proportion or a ratio can be used to find the missing length of an unknown side. So we are going to use the proportions that we've been reviewing to solve for the missing sides of the figures. To set up this ratio, we are going to use our new over original ratio and then set up a proportion. So what's going to be important is that we color code our corresponding sides. When we look at these two figures, side AB, which has a length of 6, is in the same position as side DE, which has a length of 4. So those two sides are corresponding. Then our bottom side, so BC, corresponds with EF, which means that those are corresponding sides. So what we're going to do now is choose which triangle we want to be new and which one we want to be original. I think when we practiced, we usually went from original to new. So I'm going to label my triangles like that. But right now, it doesn't matter. You can pick whichever one you want to be new and original. So what we're going to do is start on the new triangle and pick one of the sides. Well, on the new triangle, I know the side of 4. And on the original triangle, that matches up with 6. So 4 and 6 are corresponding sides. Now I'm going to go back to the new, and my next side length is the one that I don't know. So I'm going to label that as X. And the side that corresponds with X is BC, or 8. So now I can solve this proportion using one of my methods that we've already learned. Let's go ahead and cross multiply and divide. If I do 8 times 4, then I'm going to get 32, which then if I divide by 6, is going to give me a decimal of 5.3 repeating. And that would be our answer for our missing side length. So we set up the proportions of new over original equals new over original, and then solve that proportion. Let's go ahead and look at some examples. On example A, it says that triangle HJK is similar to triangle LMN. What is the length of side LM? So I know I definitely need to use this side, because that's what we're solving for. I'm going to label that X. Now I'm going to color code the other triangle so that the corresponding sides are the same color. Well, the corresponding side to LM is HJ, which has a length of 4.5. Now we've got 3 sides in this triangle, but we only need 2 to set up a proportion. So you could choose which sides you want to use. If you want to avoid using those decimals, don't pick that side. We can use the bottom lengths, JK and MN, as our other set of corresponding sides. Now we have to set up our ratio of new over original. And pick which triangle we want to be new and which one we want to be original. I'm going to make the first one original and the second one new. So now, let's go to the new triangle and pick the side that we know. Well, we know that the new triangle has that bottom length of 9, and the corresponding side on the original triangle is 6. So 9 goes with 6. And then if we go back to the new, we're solving for x, that blue side, and on the original triangle, 4.5 corresponds with x. So now we can solve this triangle by, you can simplify first or you can cross multiply and divide. Whichever way you want to do it works. If you just want to cross multiply and divide, you're going to do 9 times 4.5. And that's going to give me 40.5, and then divide by 6. And if we do 40.5 divided by 6, that gives us 6.75. So that would be our missing side length, is 6.75 centimeters. So we're continuing to use those proportions that we've been learning all week. The last example on this page, is again 2 triangles, and it says that triangle ABC is similar to triangle FGH. What is the value of x in centimeters? So we for sure want to use this side length, which is x. And now these 2 triangles are flipped, so we're going to have to look really carefully. X is the longest side on that triangle, so on the other triangle, the corresponding side is still going to be the longest length. So x corresponds with 15. Now we need to pick 2 other sides. Remember, if you don't want to use this decimal, don't pick that side. Instead, you can use the side FH, which has a length of 18, and pair that with AC, which has a length of 12, because those are the corresponding sides. They aren't the shortest length of the triangle, and they aren't the longest. They're just in the middle. Now we can set up our proportion of new over original and make our proportion. So continuing the pattern, the first will be original and the second will be new. And now I'm going to start on my new triangle, and the side that I know is 18, which corresponds with 12. And we can see that easily because we color-coded it. Now going back to the new, the blue side is x, which corresponds with 15 on the original. Now in this case, again, you could cross multiply or divide, but just to remind you, I'm going to simplify 18 over 12. Both of those numbers can be divided by 6 to get smaller numbers. 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So I could replace that original ratio with 3 over 2, and now I have smaller numbers to cross multiply and divide. So if I do that, I've got 3 times 15, which is 45. And if we do 45 divided by 2, we get 22.5 centimeters as our answer. So when you're solving for the missing side, make sure you use your tools on the website and color code those corresponding sides so that you can easily make your new over original proportion.